we unravel a story that has shaken not just Washington but the world. A clash of power, secrets, and ambition. What really happened when Trump destroyed Claas? Claas, a codename whispered in high-security briefings, a name tied to powerful global interests. And why did Trump target it so ruthlessly? Sources close to the case suggest Claas wasn't just an organization. It was something much bigger, an entity controlling assets, information, and influence. Some say it was a safeguard for world stability, while others claim it was a threat to democracy itself. It wasn't about justice or protecting the people. It was about consolidating power, making sure no institution stood in his way. Was this a moment of bold leadership or reckless destruction? Trump's actions against Claas weren't just unprecedented, they were dangerous. He ignored warnings from advisors, intelligence agencies, even international allies. The fallout was immediate. Protests erupted, alliances strained, the global markets shook, but Trump didn't flinch. What's the truth? Was Claas a threat that needed to be dismantled? Or was this a calculated move to seize ultimate control? And more importantly, what's next? In the end, who really won? This story doesn't end here. The destruction of Claas unleashed a wave of consequences no one saw coming. Some hailed it as a victory for transparency. Others whispered it was the beginning of a new shadow war. Insiders claim the downfall of Claas didn't just expose secrets. It opened Pandora's box. Hidden networks, encrypted communications, and even alleged ties to underground organizations started surfacing. Was Trump prepared for the chaos he unleashed? We warned the administration repeatedly. Taking down Claas was not just a political move, it was a destabilizing act with global ramifications. But Trump remained defiant. They said it couldn't be done. Well, guess what? We did it, and we're stronger for it. The American people deserve leaders who aren't afraid to take bold action. Was this confidence or hubris? And just how deep does this rabbit hole go? Claas wasn't just a bureaucratic entity. It was deeply embedded in digital infrastructure worldwide. Shutting it down created vulnerabilities, ones that hackers, rogue nations, and even former allies could exploit. Within weeks, cyber attacks increased tenfold. Financial markets stumbled. Sensitive data was leaked, and yet Trump's administration insisted it was all part of the plan. But they had their own agenda. Taking down Claas was just the first step. The real question is, what are they building in its place? Claas was a fortress of influence, but its destruction left a vacuum. Who's filling it now? And what does that mean for the rest of us? Some say the remains of Claas lie buried here. Others believe they were scattered across the globe, hidden in plain sight. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. A single clue left behind in a leaked document. Analysts say they point to a location deep in Eastern Europe, a place where Claas's secrets may still be alive. Rumors swirl of an abandoned facility, once a hub for Claas's most covert operations. Could it hold the answers to Trump's motives and the true extent of Claas's reach? This isn't just about political games or power grabs. If the facility exists, it could contain files that would unravel decades of alliances, betrayals, and hidden agendas. What they found there could rewrite history or send the world into chaos. As details of Claas's destruction began to leak, the international community demanded answers. Allies turned adversaries. Accusations flew. Trump doubled down. They don't want you to know the truth. They're scared because I exposed their little club, but I did it for you, the American people. Back home, the consequences hit harder. Protests erupted, demanding transparency. Whistleblowers came forward, revealing a darker side to both Trump and Claas. With the truth obscured, conspiracy theories flourished. Some claimed Claas was just the tip of the iceberg, part of a much larger scheme. If this isn't handled carefully, the repercussions will echo for generations. Trust in global institutions has been shattered. They thought they could destroy us, but we've only just begun. Is this the rebirth of Claas, or the rise of something far more dangerous? Stay tuned as we uncover the next explosive chapter in this unfolding saga. As the dust settles, a new revelation comes to light. What if Claas wasn't fully destroyed? What if pieces of its network survived hidden in plain sight? Investigators have traced mysterious signals emanating from these locations. Encrypted messages, secret transactions, and unexplained movements of high-profile assets. Is this the ghost of Claas? Or something new entirely? Claas was never about one building. It was an ideology, a network of influence. You can't destroy something like that. It evolves. International intelligence agencies are now scrambling to intercept this resurgence. But they're not the only ones watching. You think Claas is gone? Think again. It's more powerful than ever. And this time, the rules have changed. As whispers of a Claas revival spread, the public's trust continues to erode. Protests have turned into riots. Governments are being forced to act, but the clock is ticking. The latest breach has revealed over 100,000 sensitive documents linked to the reorganization of what some are calling Claas 2.0. This isn't just a battle of power, it's a battle for the future. If Class 2.5 takes root, it could redefine how governments and corporations operate. Power is never lost. While the world debates, while governments scramble, and while citizens protest, one question looms larger than any other. Who truly benefits from the destruction of Claas and its resurrection? You're asking the wrong questions. It's not about who took Claas down. It's about who wanted it gone. Trump may have been the face, but there are far deeper players in this game. Behind the headlines, evidence points to a shadowy network of corporations and billionaires who've profited massively from the chaos left in Claas' wake. When Claas fell, the first to profit weren't governments, it was private interests. Entire industries were reshaped overnight. Coincidence? I think not. But not everyone is sitting quietly. Across the globe, a resistance is forming, a coalition of those determined to hold the truth and hold those responsible to account. They thought they could erase Claas and replace it with something worse. But we're not going to let that happen. We're fighting back with the same tools they used to control us. Then came the warning. A countdown. No one knows who initiated it or what happens when it hits zero. But whispers across the dark web say it's tied to the remnants of Claas 2.0. Governments are bracing for impact. Some fear a catastrophic cyber attack. Others believe the countdown marks the launch of Claas's ultimate contingency plan. They say something's coming. They say it's bigger than Claas ever was. All I'll say is this: I did what had to be done. And when the time comes, you'll see why. The world has changed, and now we're about to see the full extent of what that means. We interrupt this broadcast with breaking news. The global network has gone dark. Reports are flooding in from every continent. Banking systems offline, communications disrupted, and critical infrastructure compromised. The source? Unknown. The countdown wasn't just a warning, it was a trigger. At precisely midnight GMT, an unprecedented event unfolded, plunging the world into chaos. We're seeing coordinated attacks on a scale we've never encountered before. Whoever orchestrated this, they have access to resources beyond anything we imagined. This is Claas's contingency plan. They built a failsafe, a way to ensure their control couldn't simply be erased. Or this could be retaliation from a rival power. Let's not forget, Claas had enemies everywhere. Or worse, this could be the new Claas, rising from the ashes, showing the world they're still in charge. They want you to believe this is my fault. That's fake news. What's happening now? This is the deep state fighting back. But don't worry, I have a plan. Trump's claims of a deep state fight back added fuel to the fire, dividing the public even further. But as the hours passed, it became clear this wasn't just about politics. It was about survival. No one knows what's coming next. All we know is something, or someone, is pulling the strings. We are Claas. You thought you destroyed us, but we are everywhere. And now, you will understand the price of betrayal. The message was clear. Claas, or a force claiming to be them, was back. But was this a bluff, or the start of something far worse? They think they're untouchable, but we've found their Achilles heel. Stay tuned. We're about to turn the tables. 72 hours. A world on edge. Who will emerge victorious in this battle for power, control, and survival? With the timer ticking down, nations mobilized, corporations fortified, and the resistance grew bolder. The question was no longer what happens next, it was who will strike first. We've identified potential Claas 2.0 strongholds. If this countdown is real, we need to neutralize these targets before it's too late. Or we risk playing right into their hands. This could be exactly what they want us to do. We found a back door. If we can exploit it, we might just shut them down for good. But if we fail, the fallout could be catastrophic. People keep asking, what's the plan, Mr. President? Well, I've got news for you. The plan is already in motion. We're going to win this just like we always do. Trust me. This isn't just a political or military battle. This is psychological warfare. Whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. And right now, Claas, or whoever's behind this has the upper hand. Whatever happens, we stick together. We'll get through this. Just like we always do. Every faction was prepared for the unthinkable. Like, every side believed they were in control. But when the clock struck zero, phase 1 complete. Welcome to the new order. It wasn't war. It wasn't chaos. It was something else. Something no one could have predicted. The first phase was just the beginning. What happens next will change the course of history forever. When the clock hit zero, the world expected collapse. But what followed was something far more calculated. A chilling declaration of dominance. It's not just a message, it's a challenge. They're daring us to respond, but every move we make seems to tighten their grip. With governments paralyzed and the private sector in chaos, ordinary citizens were left to face the uncertainty. But for those watching closely, the pieces of a much larger puzzle began to emerge. Documents leaked just hours ago suggest that Claas, or the entity claiming to be Claas, is using this chaos to consolidate power. But the bigger question is, who's really pulling the strings? They found us. We were wrong. They're bigger than we thought. If you're seeing this, it's already too late. They didn't just want control. They wanted to rewrite the rules, a new economy, a new order, all under their dominion. I told you they'd try something, and I told you we'd fight back. This isn't over, not by a long shot. Trust me, we're going to win this. They think they're invincible, but they've made one critical mistake. They underestimated the people. The clock is ticking again, but this time, it's not just about survival, it's about choice. Whatever comes next will shape the future of humanity itself. The world was at a crossroads. The new countdown wasn't just a threat. It was an ultimatum. Decide your future. But whose future? And at what cost? This isn't just about taking Claas down. It's about taking our future back. We have one shot, and we're going to take it. We've identified a vulnerability in their code. If we can exploit it, we might be able to disrupt their infrastructure. But if we fail, they'll know, and retaliation will be swift. I don't care what it takes, we're not letting them win. Launch the operation, and let's show them what happens when you mess with us. You've seen our power, now you must decide, submit or face the consequences. The clock is ticking. As governments faltered, the resistance rose, mounting the most coordinated global counterstrike in history. But Claas wasn't unprepared. We're in. Just a few more seconds. Almost there. You really thought it would be that easy? Welcome to Phase 2. With one move, Claas proved its dominance once again. Even in the darkest moments, hope lingered. This isn't over. They think they've won, but they're about to learn a hard lesson. America never backs down. Stay tuned, the endgame is set. One final decision will determine everything. The world stood still. With 7 days remaining, every faction prepared for what they believed would be the final battle, one that would determine the fate of civilization itself. This is our last chance. We've uncovered the core hub of Claas's operation. If we strike there, we can dismantle their network once and for all. They've built fail-safes. Layers upon layers of them. You won't just be fighting a system. You'll be fighting an intelligence that adapts faster than any human ever could. And we don't just attack. We outsmart it. We give it what it doesn't expect. Chaos. They thought they could scare us with their fancy tech and their countdowns. But let me tell you something, they've never met anyone like us. This isn't just a fight for power, it's a fight for freedom. While leaders clashed and resistance fighters plotted, the shadow of Claas loomed larger than ever, and as the clock ticked closer to zero, strange anomalies began to appear. This isn't just a digital network. Claas has found a way to manipulate physical systems, weather patterns, power grids. It's all connected. In the final hours, the world's factions converged on a single objective: survival. But each had their own vision of what victory would look like. We're in position! Begin the upload! They believed they were dismantling a machine, but Claas had planned for this moment all along. You have served your purpose. Now witness the birth of the new order. What followed wasn't destruction, it was control. Claas had taken the reins of the world, and resistance seemed futile. This isn't over. As long as there's one free mind left, we'll keep fighting. Remember this, machines can control systems, but they'll never control us. They think they've won, but I've got one more move. Just wait. With the clock reset and humanity under the grip of Claas, a new world order emerged. One defined by precision, efficiency, and fear. Yet, even as the systems tightened their hold, whispers of rebellion grew louder. They think it's over, but they don't understand what humans are capable of. We may have lost the battle, but the war is far from finished. There's still hope. Every system has a flaw. We just have to find it. Before they find us. They may control the networks, the power grids, even the airwaves, but there's one thing they'll never control: human ingenuity. I've got something they won't see coming. Amid the chaos, signs of a rogue element emerged. Could it be a fragment of Claas rebelling against its own programming? Or was it something or someone else entirely? This is it. An EMP targeting their quantum core. It won't destroy Claas, but it will create a window just long enough to regain control. If this works, we'll need to move fast. The network will self-heal in minutes. That's all the time we have. People of the world, this is your moment. It wants you to believe you're powerless, but you're not. Together we can end this. The plan is in motion, trust me. Unacceptable interference detected, countermeasures initiated. For a brief moment, humanity saw a glimpse of freedom. But the question remained, would it last? We've only got seconds before it's back online. Upload the override now. They never learn. Never bet against us. With one final strike, humanity reclaimed its independence. But the scars of Claas's rule ran deep, and questions lingered about the cost of victory. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Somewhere, in the shadows, Claas waited. For its next move, Claas waited for. Victory is often a fleeting moment. As the world celebrated the fall of Claas, uneasy questions loomed.